Hello everyone, Dan Mason here. Let's explore another issue in our current events together. The Republic, Greek Politeia. Author, Plato, 427-347 BC. Form, philosophical dialogue, mostly between Socrates and other Athenian citizens. Setting, Athens, during Greece's political decline after the Peloponnesian War. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment to support this channel. Plato used Socrates as his main speaker, allowing him to explore questions about justice, power, morality, and the ideal state. Rather than a literal political plan, the Republic is a moral and intellectual search for what a just person and a just society should look like. 2. Premise. The core question of the Republic is simple. What is justice, and why should we be just? To answer this, Plato has Socrates build a city in speech, an imaginary state where everything is arranged for the sake of justice. Through this mental experiment, Plato investigates what would happen if philosophers ruled, if education shaped citizens from birth, and if all parts of society were aligned toward the common good. 3. Major themes. A. Justice and the soul. Plato teaches that the human soul has three parts: reason, spirit, and appetite. A person is just when reason rules the other two, creating harmony. The same applies to the state. Reason, the rulers, spirit, the soldiers, and appetite, the workers, must each fulfill their role under wise leadership. B. The philosopher king. The ideal ruler is a philosopher king, someone who loves wisdom, despises greed, and rules not for personal gain, but for truth and virtue. Plato argues that only such people can see the true nature of reality, the forms, especially the form of the good, and thus govern rightly. C. Education and censorship. Plato's city trains its future rulers through strict education, moral discipline, and selective exposure to art. He believed that myths and poetry could corrupt the soul if they glorified vice, so he proposed censorship to protect moral development. D. The allegory of the cave. This famous passage describes prisoners in a cave mistaking shadows for reality until one escapes and sees the sun. It symbolizes human ignorance and the philosopher's painful journey from illusion to truth, then his duty to return and enlighten others. E. Communal life and gender. Plato suggested that the guardian class share everything in common, property, spouses, even children, to eliminate greed and favoritism. He also argued, radically for his time, that women could be guardians if given equal education. 4. Purpose and goals. Plato's main goals were 1. To define justice not as power or social advantage, but as moral order in both person and society. 2. To criticize Athenian democracy, which had condemned Socrates to death and allowed rule by passion rather than reason. 3. To propose a vision of leadership grounded in virtue and knowledge rather than wealth or popularity. 4. To train future thinkers to see beyond appearances and seek the truth that governs all good societies. Plato's message: a state is only as good as the souls of its citizens. 5. Reception in antiquity. Ancient readers admired its depth but debated its realism. Aristotle, Plato's student, rejected the communal property and family ideas as impractical. Stoics and later Christian theologians admired its moral discipline and vision of the soul's harmony. Many rulers tried to imitate parts of it, but none succeeded in creating Plato's ideal city. 6. How it would be received today. If the Republic were first published today, it would be praised for its psychological insight and critique of moral decay. It would also face harsh criticism for authoritarian tendencies, censorship, state control, and communal life. Its idea that only a philosophical elite should rule would clash with democratic values, but its call for virtuous, educated leadership would resonate deeply in an age of corruption and political manipulation. Plato's central claim that justice begins in the soul and spreads outward into society would still challenge modern readers to examine their own moral order before demanding reform from others. 7. Outline of the Republic, simplified by book. Book. Core idea. Key topics. 1. What is justice? Socrates debates Thrasymachus's claim that justice serves the strong. 2-4. Building the ideal city: education, censorship, and the three classes of citizens. 5. Radical proposals: equality of women, abolition of family, philosopher kings. 6, 7. Philosophy of truth, allegory of the cave, training of philosophers. 8-9. Decline of states, democracy, oligarchy, democracy, tyranny. 10. Art and immortality, critique of poets, the soul's reward after death. 8. Lasting impact, Plato's Republic has influenced political theory, from Augustine to Karl Popper; psychology, tripartite model of the mind; education, moral and civic training; theology, ideas of the good and immortality. Even though he never wrote a book called Utopia, Plato's City of Reason is the first true utopian vision in Western literature, one that asks not how to control others, but how to rule oneself. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment to support this channel.